Are Embark Studios going to compete head-to-head with the game creation Goliath that is Roblox? Or maybe release a super smart game engine to compete with Unreal Engine? Or maybe both? That is what I'm going to take a close look at in this video.
Dragonflies with wings, I don't have a clue.
G'day, Rockhound here! So let's start with a little context. We know Embark Studios are working on at least two games. Firstly, Ark Raiders, which will be a cooperative free-to-play third-person shooter game where you and your mates take on AI-driven alien robotic craft, or ARC. That game is due for release before the end of 2022, and they're also developing a first-person shooter which looks like some sort of squad-based arena shooter with a sprinkle of fantasy thrown in, based on this short teaser. And we learned recently that this currently unnamed game will release before the end of 2023. However, Embark Studios are also working on a third project. It's a game creation platform that will allow non-developers to make their own games. This project was first mentioned by Embark Studios co-founder Patrick Soderlund back in February 2019, and this is how he described it then. Beyond getting started with our first game, we have one large, overarching ambition. In essence, we think it's too hard for people that aren't professional game developers to create games, and we want to blur the line between playing and making, with games and tools that empower anyone to create. Just like anyone today can produce their own videos, write their own blogs, or make their own music, we imagine a world where everyone is able to create and share meaningful interactive experiences. Our belief is that the more people that are empowered to create, the better, more interesting, and more diverse games will become. This is a big vision, and we're realistic about the challenge. It will take time and effort to get there. And for a small studio like ours, the right way to tackle this won't be to hide away for years trying to develop something big and complex that may or may not succeed. When you think about it, Patrick is right. Game development has some reasonably strong barriers to entry, and those barriers are particularly tall for the kind of people who might have the imagination to conceive a game or the artistic ability to create fantastic worlds, scenarios, and stories within which you could immerse yourself, but simply don't have the skills to sit at a keyboard for a few years and convert those ideas into a fully functioning game. What if there were tools to act as a ladder to overcome those barriers and thereby enable those of us who want to convert our crazy ideas into games a means to do so? Think of the freedom that might offer those who have ideas but simply don't know how to code. Now, this concept of a game creation platform that's accessible and usable by non-developers isn't completely new. A prime example is Roblox, which was released way back in 2006 and has become massively popular in the last few years. It currently has over 20 million daily users and over 200 million monthly users. It's a phenomenal success. While many of Roblox users may not be creating games as such, but instead are just using the Roblox platform to jump into games that others have created for them, the sheer number of games on Roblox that have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of concurrent players shows that there are plenty of people willing to spend the time required to create games. So we've established that Roblox is a popular platform with fledgling game creators and players alike. It's understandable then that Embark Studios might want to build a platform that will attract some of that large user base and munch on that piece of delicious revenue-filled game creation pie. However, the downside for some people, and I include myself in this group, is that creating a game that looks realistic in Roblox isn't really possible. Sure, some Roblox games, such as this tiny Orion sample game, have fairly realistic environments, but your character is always going to be this Lego-like Roblox character in the game, which is just going to be a no-go for someone like me, who is generally only interested in lifelike games. So, in turn, this begs the question, can Embark Studios cross this gaming version of the uncanny valley with their game creation project and let someone like me build the love child of Escape from Tarkov and elevator action?
Yeah, baby, yeah!
Or is that just something that's unrealistic and they're just going to go for something similar to Roblox instead? Well, from what I can tell, it looks like there are two parts to the tools that Embark Studios are developing for creators. The first part, and I won't spend too much time on this, is a bunch of open source projects like Kajia, which Embark have made available to other developers on their development website. Those projects should help a significant portion of the game making community, but these projects also appear to be more for fully fledged game developers rather than for people who want to try their hand at making a game without much experience to call on. The second part is the full game creation platform. And while there have been some demonstrations of portions of this, so far they are mostly videos of cartoon-like characters and settings where the characters demonstrate innovative AI interactions with the environment and each other. These demos show interesting progress on the artificial intelligence front, but they definitely look like they're heading down the Roblox-style path, and they don't really give us any indication that photorealistic settings and characters are going to be part of the platform. However, I'm still hopeful for us realism fans because there have been a few encouraging signs from the Embark developers from various game development conferences that might shed a little light on the direction that the creative platform could potentially take. The first is that there's definitely a strong affinity for physics-based animation at Embark, and by physics I mean to the point where Embark's developers have actually said that they've been willing to throw away builds of AI characters that would struggle to stand up to some level of real-life engineering scrutiny. For instance, an approach of discarding walking robots that would struggle to hold up their own weight was mentioned during a presentation by machine learning engineer Tom Solberg during his presentation of the 2021 Nexon Developers Conference. This is a problem that the likes of filmmakers don't actually face. If a movie maker wants to create a creature that acts stronger than its parts, they just make it and hope that the audience won't question it too much. But Tom said that they want the animated characters to act as if they were real under Earth-like gravity, and for elements like mass, balance, and gait to be incorporated into the designs because it leads to more realistic movements, and that realism leads to games that are much more believable for the player. Take this walking hamburger from the Embark team, for instance. The second encouraging sign is that photogrammetry is a core tool used by Embark's environmental creation team. They travelled to Tenerife and Iceland on photogrammetry trips for the development of Ark Raiders environments and have presented multiple environmental demonstrations, including this one of the Iceland environment that I found while researching this video and which is previously unseen on this channel. So it seems like a logical step that those techniques would be ideally incorporated into a game creation platform. Imagine being able to procedurally generate a large open world map based on an environmental setting of your choice and then just drop various buildings and other features into that environment. I, for one, would be all over a creative platform that offered that ability. The nearest thing I think we have to this at the moment is Unreal Engine 5, which I see as being a very user-friendly tool for proper game makers as opposed to a tool for those of us who are inexperienced. I jumped into UE5 for the first time recently, and as a complete noob, I was able to create this small volcanic island with the help of a terrain creation program called Gaia. But I also managed to crash UE5 as soon as I covered the island in ferns. I'm guessing partly because I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. For the time being, though, we are actually yet to see any realistic environments and characters mentioned when it comes to the game creation platform from Embark. Whether they can produce a platform that sits in that virtual space between UE5 and Roblox is something we're yet to see. Maybe it will just be another Roblox with Embark's own twist to it that they produce. In which case, I won't be upset, I'll just be a little disappointed. But Patrick Soderlund did say, this is a big vision, we're realistic about the challenge, and it will take time and effort to get there. So maybe we just need a bit of patience and wait and see what eventuates from the Swedish studio. If you want to see more from me about Embark Studios games, click on this video here. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. Kia kaha, stay strong.